It's great to be back.
Hey guys, hello gorgeous. Today I'm going to be looking at one of my favorite G1 Transformers, Powermaster Optimus Prime.
Powermaster Optimus Prime, greatest leader of his time.
When the Transformers movie came out in 1986, children were heartbroken when the noble and heroic leader of the Autobots, Optimus Prime, died at the hands of his arch nemesis, Megatron. And moms were outraged. Hasbro received a Unicron-sized backlash for killing off one of the most beloved and best-selling characters forever.
In this vast universe, is anything truly forever?
And so Optimus Prime was brought back near the end of the third season of the animated series. It was great to have him back, but something seemed off.
Come on, guys, he's just shook up a little. You'd be too if you'd been dead for years.
Even though Optimus was one of my biggest heroes growing up, his return just seemed a little anticlimactic. I mean, they rebuilt him and he looked and sounded the same. I thought there should be more to it than that after surviving the ordeal of death. Hardly seemed fair considering Megatron got a new body and new name, and he didn't even die, just came close to it. There were all these cool new Transformers released in 1986 and 1987 with awesome gimmicks like triple changers, headmasters, target masters, clones, double spies, combiners, and there was good old 1984 Optimus Prime. Same old red truck with gray trailer. Among all the new releases, Prime started to really show his age, and I wondered if his time really had come and gone.
Yesterday's model, ready for the scrap heap!
Don't get me wrong, I loved seeing him brought back to the cartoon, and it was awesome to hear Peter Cullen reprise the role, but it seemed like something was missing. A commemoration of the occasion, like a new piece of swag. In 1988, the resurrection of Optimus Prime was finally made complete with the release of Powermaster Optimus Prime.
Optimus Prime is back as a Powermaster.
As I've mentioned in other videos, my family wasn't rich growing up, and I didn't have a lot of large-sized toys, especially Transformers, which were much more expensive than other toys.
I find that hard to believe.
But when I saw Powermaster Optimus Prime sitting on the shelf at my local Toys R Us and lost my mind, my mom knew there was no discussion to be had. Despite the price, she knew it was a must-buy and was soon telling my dad,
I had no choice.
it was Optimus Prime, but now bigger and better. The plastic personification of the phrase, "what doesn't kill you makes you stronger." She saw how much I loved my original 1984 Optimus, how meticulous I was with it to make sure I didn't break it, and she knew I'd care for this one as well, and I have. This is my original G1 Powermaster Optimus Prime from my childhood with box, and it's one of the most special pieces in my toy museum. Optimus was a symbol of strength and courage for me growing up, someone who always did the right thing, which was often the more difficult thing.
Thanks for your confidence.
And this new Powermaster form just supercharged my image of him. More powerful, more courageous, more noble, more brave, and more fun. New episodes of the cartoon had ended by the time it was released, but the reruns were bookended with a live-action puppet of Optimus Prime talking to the boy Tommy Kennedy about his past adventures.
I'm here with Powermaster Optimus Prime.
You're lucky I didn't mistake you for a Decepticon.
But if you wanted to see Powermaster Op in action, the Marvel comic was still going strong, and Powermaster Optimus Prime debuted in issue 42.
Who will win? Find out in Marvel Comics.
The comic had been following a different continuity than the cartoon, and Optimus had died several issues prior, but his consciousness had been saved on a floppy disk. The Autobots decided to take the disk to the planet Nebulos.
Nebulos?
Yeah, the planet where the Headmasters and Target Masters were created. Nebulons are humanoid beings. They were depicted as green-skinned on the cartoon,
Which Autobot do you want to bond with?
but look more like humans in the comics. The Autobots ask the Nebulons to rebuild Optimus's body and integrate his essence from the disc. But the problem is, after the chaos that ravaged the planet earlier with the Headmasters, the Nebulons poison their power supply so that any Transformers who may return wouldn't survive long.
The energy will kill us!
The Nebulons warn the Autobots that if they revive Optimus, he won't last long. But Goldbug insists that it's a better fate than being trapped on a disc for the rest of his existence. Prime is revived and quickly begins to die again, but expresses gratitude for the experience of death, which is better than an eternal virtual existence. The Nebulons are so touched by Prime's genuine appreciation of life, fleeting as it may be for himself, that they offer a way to keep him alive.
Unless a new supply of energy is found, nobody is going to win this war.
In order to circumvent the poisoned energy issue, the Powermaster process was developed, where a Nebulon could become a Transformer's engine, thereby filtering the energy and providing power. This was a natural fit for Autobots who were mostly vehicles. While I love the Headmaster gimmick, I thought Powermasters were even better. You get to have your Transformer in robot mode, and have a little Nebulon figure as well, which you couldn't do with the Headmasters, since the Nebulons were busy being the robot's head.
Maybe you can help us.
Let's take a quick look at the original box. It featured the classic style art, now with a more digital glow behind than the previous boxes, and highlighted this guy.
Who are you, and what do you want?
It's High Q, Optimus's Powermaster engine. Beautiful artwork on the back of the 1988 Transformers, and tech specs, which read, "Freedom is the right of all sentient beings. The beloved leader of all Autobots, dedicated to protecting all life forms, mechanical, human, and otherwise. Willing to sacrifice anything in order to end the Autobot-Decepticon conflict. Wise and compassionate. The inspiration that fuels every Autobot. Binary bonded to the super intelligent Nebulon computer programmer High Q. In engine mode, High Q handles all of Prime's power needs. Trailer transforms into Armed Fortress, complete with laser rifle, concussion blaster, and 2 twin particle beam cannons. Tractor and trailer combine to construct Optimus Prime's new super-powered robot form. A bio fitting of Prime's new form. More than just a soldier now, he's become a legend. Beloved and revered, a symbol of hope. The original Optimus Prime was made up of 3 components, Optimus himself, plus Roller, and the trailer. I like that this new version of Optimus retained the idea that Optimus Prime is not just a robot, but a trinity of robots who are linked together. This new version is made up of the cab, Optimus, the trailer, and High Q, who I suppose takes the little guy spot previously held by Roller. And here's Powermaster Optimus Prime in truck mode.
Let's roll!
I love how similar he still looks to the original version, but different enough that it doesn't seem like a repaint. The cab is missing a set of wheels. Gone are the clear windows, unfortunately, replaced by stickers. The grille is chromed, but the smokestacks aren't, and no more die-cast either.
That does not satisfy my logic circuits.
The trailer retains the same style of blue and white stripe, but looks beefed up now, and can be armed with Optimus's 4 lasers. The visible fists suck. No 2 ways about it.
This is grim news indeed.
The back of the trailer still opens up, but has much less space than the original one did. It has enough room for the Super Optimus head, though. It's nice when parts formers have space to hold all of their parts. Like Headmasters, Powermaster engines plugged into the Transformer body, but it wasn't just aesthetic. The Transformer is not able to transform until the Powermaster is in.
Autobots, transform!
Being super excited to transform my new Optimus, I didn't take the time to read the instructions and tried to transform him without inserting the engine. I remember panicking, thinking, oh no, he's broken! He's defective! For a minute before noticing this little tab on the grille. When you insert the engine, the tab is pushed in and the legs on the cab are able to flip down. If you don't have the Powermaster engine anymore, you can still transform it by manually holding the tab in.
Fortunately, I have a delicate lock-picking technique.
This was a gutsy move on Hasbro's part in my opinion because the toy can be broken by forcing it. And how many kids didn't realize the engine had to be used as a key to unlock the transformation? No Transformer had ever required a key before, so it wasn't something anyone was used to.
It's puzzling.
After 1985, the scale of Transformers increased, so Optimus's new robot mode is slightly larger than his 1984 incarnation. They decided to not just redo his original transformation, and this time the front of the cab becomes his back instead of his chest. And the inside of the cab opens up to reveal a chest that looks like the front of the cab, only more cartoon accurate. It's kind of weird that the cab's front is now Prime's back, and it's my least favorite thing about this toy.
Something is terribly wrong here.
It's just weird having his Powermaster engine in his back. But this will be remedied in a bit.
Worry about it later.
He's got red eyes, which are traditionally the color of Decepticon eyes, so that's odd. Also surprising is that even though this Optimus came out 4 years after the original, he has far less articulation than the original. In this mode, his arms only bend at the elbow. His head can go up and down, sort of, and his legs are posable but are connected. You can't split them apart like on the original version. He can hold his black laser cannons, but they're too big and he can't raise his arms up all the way while holding them.
Throw down that gun and surrender.
It's cool having a Headmaster-sized new Optimus, but as far as play value goes, this guy's a nice-looking brick. The trailer transforms into a base that Optimus can be placed in, and the gray blasters have notches that can hold Haikyuu and other Powermaster figures. So if this new version of Optimus is a brick, why is he one of my favorite G1 Transformers, and my favorite toy version of Optimus Prime ever? Because he can combine with his trailer.
Optimus is becoming a super Powermaster!
Taking a page out of Ultra Magnus's playbook, you can combine the cab with the trailer to make a super-sized Optimus Prime. And with the engine plugged in, you've now combined all 3 components into one, unifying the Trinity. I loved how 1984 Optimus towered over all the other Autobots. And this combined mode lets him do that once again over the larger scaled releases of 1986 and beyond. The head has to be plugged in, but that never bothered me since I was used to it with Ultra Magnus. And if they had engineered it to have the cab contain both small and large robot heads, the large head probably would have ended up being pretty small due to the lack of room in there. The Super mode has red eyes again, but it seems a bit more appropriate in this mode, since he's brimming with power. It's more like representing power than evilness. No issues holding his blasters in this mode, although his arms do seem a bit short, especially when not holding the guns. The arms can go up and down, and the legs can go out. Eat your heart out, JCVD.
Good grief.
In this mode, the front of the cab now becomes Optimus's chest, just like on the original 1984 version. So you get to have your Cybertonium cake and eat it too, having the front of the cab as the chest as well as the more cartoon-accurate chest of the smaller mode. Although this was my favorite toy version of Optimus growing up, I wasn't blind to the shortcomings of it. Since there was no internet back then, I wasn't aware that the Japanese version had some huge improvements and jumped at the chance to own the Takara reissue version. This souped-up reissue version was also released in North America under the commemorative series, with a few safety tweaks as usual. Let's talk about the differences. First, the Japanese cab had die-cast. It adds weight to the cab and makes it feel more like the original Optimus, in addition to looking like him.
That is affirmative.
And the Japanese version of the cab doesn't use stickers for the windshield. It's clear blue plastic, like the windows on the Takara New Year Convoy reissue. There's more chrome on the bumper, and Haikyuu has chrome. These little touches make it seem so much more like an upgrade of the original 1984 version, improving on everything that was great about that one. The smokestacks are chrome, but are shorter than the North American version, or the 1984 version for that matter.
It makes no sense.
I know! The cool thing about Takara versions is that they're generally not as safe, firing missiles with much more spring and sharp pieces that'll poke your eye out, while the North American versions have always had the blunted tips with less firing power for some reason. The parts that were gray on the G1 US version are now a metallic color, like the 84 trailer, the two double-barreled blasters, and the sides and top of the trailer. And a huge upgrade is the fists that collapse into the trailer.
My hands.
And then there's the biggest upgrade, God Bomber. While I love the truck mode of Powermaster Optimus Prime, it always seemed a bit short since the cab was bigger than the 84 cab. Takara remedied that by adding another trailer that can be attached, making Powermaster Optimus Prime a one-bot convoy.
Roll out!
This looks so awesome. Yeah, it's long, but he's got a Powermaster engine, which gives him more than enough juice to haul it all to who knows where.
He might have been heading for New Jersey.
God Bomber has a nice chrome front and a missile launcher with a chrome missile. The US version featured a longer missile for safety reasons and wasn't colored chrome. The transformation is the same, the biggest difference being the cab mode's head has blue eyes instead of red, making him look much more Optimus.
Affirmative.
The metallic plastic makes the trailer look better in base mode, and in combined mode, the clear cab windows add so much to the look of Super Powermaster Optimus Prime, evoking the look of the original toy. The metallic shoulder guns look better, and the added chrome really pops, especially on the legs.
If that doesn't get their attention, nothing will.
Again, it makes him look more like the 84 version, which I appreciate. The eyes of the Takara and Hasbro reissues of the Super mode are still red, but I customized some chrome blue ones using some reflective tape.
Perfect.
Not too hard to do, you just need a small screwdriver to take the head apart. The arms are a bit longer in this version, making this version pack quite a punch. And even though the black blasters appear to be the same as the North American version, there's one super cool feature that's exclusive to the Japanese version. Just like on the Master Force cartoon, they disappear. And reappear. Yay for subspace! 4D batteries required. God Bomber wasn't just an extra trailer for Prime to haul.
Somehow I suspect there's more to it than that.
He's a Transformer himself. Well, more like a parts-former. He's almost as tall as Super Optimus, but he's pretty flimsy. The paint applications on him are sparse, so I've given him some custom blue eyes. God Bomber can also be combined with Super Optimus Prime to give him a jetpack.
Autobots to the air!
As well as chest, arm, and leg armor upgrades to create...
Something big.
As big as Omega Supreme?
Bigger than that.
In this mode, he was known as Super God Ginrai in Japan, and Apex armor on the North American reissue. He is absolutely colossal. The foot add-ons look a bit goofy, but add even more height to the figure. He now towers over other big bots, and has enough firepower to make Six Gun feel jealous. Oh.
Talk about a bull in a china shop.
There were 2 repaints of Powermaster Optimus released in Japan. One was black, called Nucleon Quest, which I owned for some years before becoming very bored of it and selling it.
It's an obvious fake. The people will never believe it.
And the other was an orange version called Fire Guts Ginrai. Orange is my favorite color, but no. Just no. Not my cup of tea. It's all about the red and blue for me when it comes to Optimus Prime.
Here's the trophy I want.
Amazing what a little chrome and diecast can do. Hopefully more G1 reissues will receive these kinds of upgrades, adding a new coat of paint to old favorites. The original will always be a sentimental favorite of mine, and this upgraded Takara version just takes a wonderful memory and adds NOS. Just like the original, Powermaster Optimus Prime has the touch and the power.
You got the power.
Got an Optimus memory you'd like to share? Scroll down and go to town. And to join the tribe, hit subscribe. Nerdmaste.